What we've got here is...
I just saw this movie, Get Out. Welcome to your favorite uncut, uncensored, spoiler-filled podcast. I'm your host, Matt Brando. I have a very special guest with me today. First special guest we have. We're going to have a lot more special guests for the show. My brother, James.
What's going on, sir? How you feeling?
I'm pretty good. I'm kind of sick. You kind of sick, too?
Yeah, man. This weather,
This weather sucks balls, man. I'm in the hood of Cleveland, if you didn't notice. And I don't know if you can tell by his voice, but James is a black American. This is a perfect opportunity to talk about this movie. And I want to actually go right into this first scene. God damn it, Bruce, shut up. They watched the movie downstairs. Yeah, they're watching they're watching Suicide Squad, I think, downstairs.
Oh shit.
But I want to ask you, okay, the very first scene of this film is setting up a black man being abducted. And I'm thinking, damn, Trump's America. But we're back in 1962 again. But besides this, as a black man in America, even before Trump get into office, we have all this anti-Semitism shit going on. Right. How safe do you feel in 2017, especially after seeing that first scene?
How safe do I feel? Well, I think it's kind of weird to say it, but I kind of feel exactly safe level as I did before Trump was in office, and here's why. I'm an African American that also happens to stay in the inner city of my city, as in Cleveland, Ohio, right? So essentially I live and stay in the hood. Now, since Trump was in office, I lived in the hood, and before Trump was in office, I lived in the hood. However, right, I feel like my situation hasn't changed drastically or much. Therefore, my safe level is probably still at the same as it was before Trump took office. Now, if I didn't stay in the hood, and I stayed in, some rich-ass house or whatever, right? I probably would have a difference in opinions, like, oh, shit, I gotta carry the 22 on my side now, But, I think I feel still kind of got the same safe level. I don't feel like I'm going to be kidnapped by any white person because, there's really no white people in the hood. So.
I wanted to ask you, because this film has a lot of social commentary we'll get into up in a minute, but, even right after that, Chris, the main character, he's harassed by a cop, and Allison Williams, who plays Rose, defends him. Right. And I was like, damn, that's some real life shit. I thought they were gonna go more on that, but they didn't. It was really quickly. But I was like, that's some real life shit because I've been with you in the car, and we've been pulled over.
Yeah, we have, and I think you kind of witnessed it firsthand. The whole police injustice towards black people in America. But I love that particular scene in the movie, and here's why, right? I feel like that he added just a little dose, probably within the first, 20 minutes or so in the movie, 20 to 30 minutes of white privilege. I felt like...
Which one? Which part?
The part where she's kind of on the officer's ass about the officer asking her boyfriend for ID. Now, here's the thing, right? I kind of looked at it as the officer doing his job, like he wanted... I think the officer even stated that he wanted to get his identification purpose-wise for the report he was filling out.
Yeah. I think the quote was, in an accident, I'm supposed to do this, ma'am.
Right. Now, here's the thing. He wasn't driving, which, to her point, also was kind of valid. Why do you need his ID if he wasn't driving? But here's the thing, right? I felt like it was a little bit of white privilege because had she been African-American and her dude was also still African-American, I felt like the tone of the officer wouldn't have been as easy or let going, how he just kind of, blew it off or whatever. I felt like she definitely would have escalated the situation, even as far as, arresting her, calling for backup, and I would hate to say maybe taking his or her life behind something as simple as, asking for identification purposes. But that lets you know that she had the kind of the privilege of kind of defending her man and stating those her opinions to the officer, where I felt like maybe a person of color might not have been, they probably would have been able to do the same thing, but they would have gotten different results with the officer.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like that Crash situation. Remember that movie? Right. Matt Dillon, I think that's his name. He feels up Terrence Howard's wife.
Right.
Like, damn. But I definitely want to ask that because it's so true to life. But in all seriousness, for the film, that very first scene when the guy's being abducted in the movies, from the get-go, within the first 5 minutes, you want to establish the mood of the film, the tone. So the rest of the movie, you're not getting screwed over of like it changing on you. Right. So right from that beginning, that beginning abduction, you're like, oh shit, this is gonna be this ain't gonna be no Golden Girls. Did we see Fruitvale Station together?
Yeah,
is that Crocker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in that film, what was the guy's name? Oscar. Played by Michael B. Jordan. Right. He finds that dead dog in Oakland. I think it was in Oakland, and it's like a symbol, like for him, his future. Right. And I felt like the deer when they hit the deer, right. and Chris was looking at the deer. I'm like, damn, this is gonna be Chris.
Almost like what do you call that? Like maybe a foresight of what?
Yeah, foreshadowing. Yeah,
exactly. Of what could happen or what's going to happen, or him being exactly in a deer's place. Like this shit just all hit you at one time. You don't know how to react. But right. Ultimately, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, and it was crazy because I flashed back to that Fruitvale Station. Like, man, Chris is going to die.
Right.
But the main job, and I haven't really seen any Jordan Peele stuff. I didn't even really knew what he looked like. But I knew he was a comedian dude. I think he had like a show on NBC or something.
Right, it was the, I'm not, like, I know who he is. Obviously, him and his friend Key.
Key, yeah. Right? Key and Peele. That was the combo.
I know Key from Obama's black translator.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So so that's actually. I mean, I know he got famous from the TV show Key and Peele, but believe it or not, I really didn't watch that show. To be honest, I knew who the guys were, but I just didn't watch the show. I became fans of Key after the whole black impersonation, Obama's black impersonator or whatever, and I haven't watched too much stuff on Jordan Peele, but I knew who he was.
Okay.
So like, when he made this movie, I was trying to see like what all the hype was about,
right?
And it was like I do remember actually watching YouTube, right? And every video I clicked on, the automated ads were a trailer of Get Out. Like, it was out there, like, saturated so much.
Right.
So I was like, damn, why do they keep showing this shit? It was like, at one point, I was like, yo, if I see this shit one more time, bro, I'm not going to see it. Stop, click, like, I had to skip ad and everything, right? So, for me, the reason why I think I saw the movie was because of social media. Like, I logged on Facebook, I logged on Twitter, seen it on Instagram. It was almost like a self promotion that he had with the fans online. Like, everybody that saw it, it's like they all were kind of, doing justice as far as for him. They were telling all their other friends, go see it, go see it, go see it, go see it, go see it. I kept saying, like, damn, I didn't want to see this movie.
Right.
But all my friends, who are good friends of mine, were saying, go see it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go see it.
Right. I actually
$10. Go see it.
I was gonna just like rent it from the library.
Right.
I wasn't gonna like go out to the film or the theater and just see the fucking movie.
Right.
But I kept on hearing from every fucking buddy,
everybody. That's so weird, bro.
Like, this movie's great. Go see it. It's so good. It's great. I'm like, man, god damn it.
Like, I was like, why is it great? Like, without saying much, they couldn't say much, and they didn't want to tell you much.
Oh yeah.
So it was like one of those things where the little they said, the more. For some odd reason, you wanted to go see it. Like, man, why should I go see this movie?
Right.
Dog. This shit was great, bro.
Right, I know.
Wait, what? I mean, that was. I mean, shit, the Titanic was great, but why should I go see this movie?
Right.
Bruh, it's awesome. I'm like, all right.
Exactly.
See it.
I was the same exact way. I'm like, man, my buddy Chris, you met him. He's like, he gave it a real great score and thought it was amazing. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna trust his opinion. I'm gonna go see it myself. And I saw that shit last night. My buddy Dan from soccer. We don't get too many soccer people. They ain't listening, but we don't get too many soccer people coming out no more. It's just me and him as the steady people. And he thought it was great. I thought it was great too. And back to Jordan Peele, though, a director's job, and this is the best part of this film. The director's job is to make the set professional and workable, or unprofessional and unworkable, depending on what he wants.
Right.
But this, in turn, makes and creates the atmosphere and the mood of the film. And it can also translate to the actors and how they want to play, or you can tell the actors, hey, play this a little weird, which they fucking did. And Jordan Peele fucking nailed it. I thought the whole movie, I was just fucking fidgeting around. I was playing with my hands. I was like, oh, this is so fucked up. And I thought he was fucking, like, brilliant, and I haven't seen a goddamn thing this guy did.
Right.
And I thought this is
that made it even better because it was his directorial debut.
Was it?
Yeah, he's never directed a movie before, and I found that super crazy for him to never have directed a movie before.
And he came from comedy.
Yeah, and he came from comedy, and he's directing not a comedy movie, but a horror movie.
Right.
Like this can't be that good, right?
Right.
But pleasantly surprised.
Right. I actually thought watching it. I told you about this movie called Surviving the Game with Ice-T. It was not that great, but it was pretty much a bunch of rich white guys and Charles S. Dutton because they didn't have Dutton. It'd be racist as fuck. But it was white guys, like rich guys, paying money to this other dude to run like this game where they hunt black men, like one black guy in the woods, like every couple months or something. So I was waiting for Chris to be like, because they had that little bingo scene. I love the direction of that movie because the camera pulls out. You see this fucking portrait of Chris.
This
I was like, damn.
Poster, picture of like a gold frame,
right?
And as the camera is zooming out, it's like you capture his forehead,
right?
His eyebrow to the eyes, and like instantly, like, damn, is that Chris up there? Like, where did they get a 10x4?
That was a big ass like mural, like
it was huge
in a nice ass frame, old school as shit. And they're like silently like doing the auction, like that's some creepy shit.
And I thought that was so brilliant because I couldn't figure out what exactly the communication was between the dad and the guest. Like, I don't know if that was some type of sign language because there wasn't no audio, right? So he wasn't talking to them or speaking to them,
right?
But yet they all understood exactly what he was saying,
right?
Who was bidding on what, and they knew who won and how much the wagers were,
right? It was almost like a silent auction.
Yeah, like a silent auction, but the communication was maybe unheard of. Like, I don't know if
I think he was doing I think he was doing the numbers like $5,000 maybe.
Okay.
And then when $10,000 was for the art dealer, I think that was he sold up $10,000 for him.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. But I was waiting because I saw what's that shit called? Surviving the Game. I thought they're gonna hunt him. I thought they're gonna eat him. Because they kept commentating on like black people's jeans and shit,
right? And
like that one lady just like touching his muscles. I'm like, what the fuck? So it made me think they're gonna like because black men are bulkier. They like muscles, so they're gonna eat this guy.
Shout out to what's his name, Lil Rel, the best friend in the movie.
Oh right.
He kept hyping us up about the sex,
right?
The sex shit,
the sex slave.
The sex slave.
Oh my god, I'm gonna skip ahead in my notes.
What's funny about that? I didn't actually think about I thought the whole idea of sex slaves were funny. I didn't actually consider that a real option, but the way he kept hyping it up, it made me reconsider my own theory. Like, are they really using them as a sex? Like, she just touched my man's shoulders, and the little dude came over and grabbed his hand. I was like, this is some weird
He's talking about
shit,
Tiger's stroke.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So I was like, wow.
I'm skipping ahead of my notes. I'm gonna talk about he played the character Rod.
Okay.
Oh my god! Okay. There's only like 8 people in the theater. I was laughing my ass off every time he made a joke, like every fucking thing. And the greatest thing is, I'm glad I want to talk to you about this. The dialogue and the dialect that he had was fucking so spot on.
Yeah,
it's like no other way. A black man wrote this, and you can fucking tell.
Yeah, Because, like, for most white people, I don't know how, like, white people interact with their other white friends as far as loyalty and having their back, but would you see Rob acting towards his friend like he wants to genuinely help him, like he wants to get him out that situation, he cares for him, in this sort of sarcastic yet funny and witty way? That's exactly how black people are with other black people friends. Well, not even just black people friends, that's exactly how black people are with their true good friends. We're really silly and funny and just stupidly witty, all type of things. That relationship. So I thought that was brilliant because that's, to me, like, I got partners and friends just like Rob. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's Lil Jon. Yeah, that's So I was just thinking, like, yeah, that's dope. Like the way he threw that character in there.
Yeah, I wanted to skip ahead in my notes here and talk about Chris going to Dre before he knew that was Dre. Just because he was at the party, he saw another black dude. I was like, man, that's so true real life. Like, especially out in like public, if there ain't no black people around, like, there's a Vine made by somebody who's Vine famous. And he nods, he's black, and then he had like a white guy with him. And then he nodded at a black guy. And then the white guys go, well, you know that guy? He goes, no. He's like, why'd you nod at him? Because he's black. So it's like, damn, that's some real life shit. He goes up like, hey, damn, there's another brother I can finally say hi to. Well, what's up, bro? And then that's another thing about the interaction. Like, he tries to give him a pound.
Right, and then gives him a handshake.
What the? No, he doesn't do that. He just kind of grabs. I've never seen that. It's so awkward. I was like, man, that's perfectly weird.
That's how I knew it wasn't a brother underneath there. Because, like, I mean, once he didn't get the handshake right, I was like, oh, yeah, you're, like, unofficially, officially weird. Like, right. Something the hell is going on, and this is strike number 2. A brother that's not a brother, like, something weird is going on.
I want to also get into the running scene. Might as well talk about that, because what happened was, who the fuck was Dre's, like, real person underneath there? I forget.
Dre's the guy with the hat, right?
Yeah, the other black dude with the hat. Right. Yeah, the weirdly, like, 1800s dressed. Yeah.
Well, for what I was, for what I saw, he was the lady he was with. That was her husband.
Okay, yeah. So they transferred the husband over. Okay, exactly. That's what it was.
So
okay, yeah.
She, the daughter dated Dre, or best friend of Dre, brought him back, did the whole routine, and I'm assuming the husband, won that round for Dre's body. They did a whole coagular transplantation.
Right.
Transplanting them.
Yeah,
transplantation, but transplant.
I'm really glad they kind of showed before that happened with the art dealer and then Chris. And they set it all up. I was like, well, I missed it. I might have to see it again. He was doing some kind of like prayer or some shit. I was looking for some like Satanist thing that he was praying to, because didn't he have like some shit and he's like doing this with his hands? He had his head down, eyes closed, and he had his hands up. I thought he was praying to something.
You talking about the artist?
The doctor before he's doing the surgery for the art dealer and Chris.
You know what? I don't remember that part. I might have to watch that part.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. I'm definitely going to be seeing this shit again. I might even be buying this movie. It's so good. But when I was talking about Dre with the body switch, I was getting into the running scene, which it took me, actually, I was like, okay, people are talking about this running scene, how it doesn't fit, but then it does. And then I couldn't figure it out at first. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to research it. I'm going to think for myself. And I told my buddy Dan, who I went with, I was like, yeah, the running scene, I still can't figure that out. And I was like, and then I talked about Grandpa and how he was Grandpa, and he got the clue before I did. He said, maybe it was like the Jesse Owens thing. I was like, God damn it, he was doing
Grandpa
his practice.
Was the track star, and also, which I thought was kind of great. I took it even a little bit further. I don't know if people even consider this, but when Grandpa was the track star, he lost to Jesse Owens, right? In that whole race, but he knew he was just as good as Jesse Owens as far as talent-wise, right? Right. How Jesse Owens beat him was his athleticism. And you can't learn athleticism. It's generic. It's hereditary, right? Right. It grows, from your parents. You get it from your parents. So I think that was like the brilliant part of how I kind of like saw it, as maybe the way he was running was because he's never been that fast. He's never been that strong. Right. And for him to have this black body now, it's almost like, well, shit, I went from driving Chevy Cobalt to a Chevy Camaro. Right. It's like, now I'm gonna test the speed out, Right. So it's like, I got this body before, now I got this body now, and me being that track star, I really gotta test it out. I really gotta run as fast as I can now, just to see how well this body is equipped, Right. So I never thought about that. Yeah, that's kind of how I looked at it too.
So I want to ask you a question. Do you think that, because I think the art dealer said it, I don't know if it's answered in any other way. Why did they choose black people? Is it because of they wanted the superior genes, or they were actually jealous and hated?
Both. I think both, right? Because the blind artist, right? He kind of touched on it a little bit when the main character, he actually like, well, why black people?
Right. And I was waiting for it. Why the fuck would they choose?
Yeah, and the guy was like, well, with me, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted you for your eyes, because he was a photographer. But I think he was saying that the dad thought, well, the dad was number one racist, and they didn't like black people. And he kind of thought that black people had this superior, like, I guess maybe not just athleticism, but the way their whole body is made to conform. They're bigger for some reason. They're stronger. They can go faster. They can perform at a higher level than most white people can, given the same opportunity, right? So the dad, the grandpa or whatever, he was, I think he was obviously kind of racist or whatever. He kind of believed that white people were smarter, and if they had the bodies and kind of like, if they had the bodies to perform their trades that the African American people had, that they would be. He believed that they would be the supreme being, almost like, okay, we have the intelligence to be the supreme being, but we don't have the body to be the supreme being because we can't run as fast, we can't jump as high. So how do we, how do we solve this problem?
Right.
What if we could take our bodies and our brains and our mental and put it into their bodies?
Right.
You combine the superiority of their body and their strength and their speed with our intellect, and you make it as one. So that's where he kind of came up with the whole theory. So I think that's why he used black people, because let's say, black people, they're some of the best basketball players, some of the best football players or whatever. But, you probably have some of the most renowned doctors, and they're probably white or whatever, So as far as intellect, I think they thought, he thought, okay, I was a superior in that level, yet they have this superiority in this level. So he just kind of, combined the two or whatever.
Make it. What was that bug? It was like a butterfly thing. That was like a transformation, taking our brains and putting them in your bodies. Right. And I was like, that was it.
Right.
So we're talking about race. I'm gonna ask you this question: do you think this was Jordan Peele's take or his own version of Spike Lee's Jungle Fever?
I didn't consider that, but
I thought about that because it was Rose, white girl, and then the black man, and then. Trey, or not Trey, but damn it, what the fuck's his TSA agent's name? I forget him already. His character name, Rod. Rod's like, I told you not to go in that house. Blah 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 blah. So I was thinking like maybe just because this movie's like a concoction of several different things. I thought it was like a Jungle Fever. I thought it was like a surviving the game.
Right.
And so I thought like maybe it was like a little bit of like a message. Hey, because I'm gonna skip ahead right now to the wonderful social commentary. The maid Georgina.
Yeah.
So Georgina unplugs his phone, Chris's phone, and Chris says to Rose, "Oh, it's I forget what he says, but it was like something like it's a sister thing type of deal."
Right.
And so the real level there, and Rose thought, "Oh, she's jealous." No. That's not what Jordan Peele meant. What Jordan Peele, to me, I think meant was, no, it's a sister thing. Sisters don't want brothers dating white girls. Sisters want brothers dating sisters.
Right.
That's what I thought it was.
Yo, that's genius. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, okay, word. Yes, I thought about that ASAP. So there's a lot of like little social bits like that. Like another one we already talked about with Chris going up to another black person at the party. I was like, damn, that's fucking straight out of real life. That's so true. But I don't know if you agree with maybe just a pinch of the Jungle Fever. It's obviously not as head on.
Right.
But that's how I felt a little bit.
And I definitely thought the love was genuine.
Oh yeah,
and that's another great part. I think the director had to put that into the script, that in order to confuse the viewers and have us believing to the very last second that she had no clue what was going on, that her love for him had to be 100% authentic.
Right.
Like, and you can tell, for me, I believe that early on, after, the white privilege part where they pulled over and she defended her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And then after they were driving away, she was like, well, you didn't have to do that. She's like, what? Come on. You're not letting nobody fuck with my man.
Right.
After she said that.
Right.
I like, oh, shit, she really loves this guy.
Right.
So I was like, damn, I'm right with her, all right, that's what's up,
Right.
All right, that's what's up, yeah, so I definitely thought, the love was 100% authentic.
Let me see if I can skip ahead and find something. Since we're talking about the love, I'm gonna skip to talking about Rose, Allison Williams. Okay. I actually thought she wasn't gonna be at fault or in on the whole thing. I thought she was gonna be like hypnotized. And because I know about the neurosurgeon transplanting the bodies and shit, I thought she was actually going to be hypnotized like the whole time. And because when he found all the pictures of her with all the black boyfriends that she's had in the past, I thought she was going to be like not part of it, like in a sense, like she would be hypnotized. And then at the staircase, instead of like, oh, these keys, I'm like, damn it, she's in on it. I thought she's going to be like, Mom, what are you talking about? Sorry, honey. And then like does like a little like snap her fingers, and then she goes, and then she passes out.
Sort of like I guess her not even knowing that the family was just the ones involved. and she was like a cool one or whatever.
Right.
Gotcha.
But all of them were ended up evil. But so yeah.
What I found hard to believe though, real quick,
go ahead.
the fucking brother, right, who was a total creepo.
Oh, right, the ginger kid.
Yes, he showed up, you know, on the porch with the bags in his hand. Oh, like, this dude is weird as shit. I don't believe he's a doctor at all. Like, because the dad was like, oh, yeah, our son's in medical school.
Yeah.
I was like, this kid is in medical school? I'm like, come on. Yeah. And I saw why, though, but
right.
The grandfather was a neurosurgeon, right? A brain doctor who taught the son, which is the dad, the same trade, right? Obviously, he had to go to college and then medical school and, you know, be certified and everything like that. But... Right. It kind of, I was explaining that to my sister. I was like, well, I see why the son was in medical school, right? Mm-hmm. Because the grandfather who came up with this whole thing, he had to show the son how to do everything as far as the surgeries and this and that or whatever. Assistant. Because in order to get the dad transformed into the black body, the son would have to do the surgery. Mm-hmm. The dad can't perform it on himself. Right. Right. So it seemed like that, to me, that kind of explained why the grandson had to be a doctor, because eventually his dad, which was the girl's dad, you know, he was going to probably need the surgery eventually. He would have got too old or frail. Yep. Daughter would have to bring another black guy home. Yep. And then he did his son, which would have been the little young brother. He probably would have been old enough to know, well, he was already prepping everything already. So he would have had to do the surgery for his dad and so forth. You know, the cycle would have continued. Right.
So, we're talking a little bit about nitpicks. I want to do one, and I need to ask you, in your opinion, the only real problem that I might take a point or half a point off. Rose, I swear to God, Rose saw when they're in the circle, and Chris took the picture, and the flash went off, and then the guy Dre attacked him, but he was actually Dre and not the husband.
Right, he was the real dude.
So I think at least she was in the aftermath of it all. So when that flash went off, she would know at the end in the climax when that flash went off when he did the groundskeeper guy. Oh. She would have known not to give the gun to him because he would have been flipped. Right. So I think is that how it went down?
No, I didn't think about that, but it makes sense now. The only thing I could maybe think about is maybe she didn't see the flash.
Maybe I don't know if she was at the scene, but she was there post.
Right. She was like kind of maybe 10 feet behind him, which is
But they're talking about it too, like how the flash. Moved around. So I think myself, is Rose dumb, or I was like, that's the only real flaw that I would ever take points off for. Right. That's right. Besides that, there's so much I have positive I want to still talk about.
Yeah, it was so much little stuff.
Like right. Like I might as well just go to the very top. The art dealer. It's fucked up that the nicest guy to him is the guy who ends up bidding for his body.
Right. Like even the nicest guy who you would least assume had the most to gain from it.
Right. Like, I thought like when he met him, he was like. I was like, this guy's actually... He might even help him escape. Right. But no, he's the guy who's... It was great writing,
because though. He drew him in, too. Like, he kind of was like... He's like... What did he say? He's like... Don't be mad at them or something like that. They're ignorant. And like, instantly, yeah. The black guy was like, oh, well, he's not ignorant, so I'm just going to talk to him because he's like the most coolest one in.
Right, he's chill. And it's fucked up because great writing. He's blind and he wants to see again. I was like, damn. And he knows who he is. Like that's great depth. And I thought it was also clever as balls that the title of the movie is heard only when Dre snaps out of being the husband and says, "Get out, get the fuck out!" during his like seizure. I thought that was fucking great.
I thought it was great too how the doctor explained that he's like, well, during the transplant they leave a piece of your right. He said a piece of, what was it?
It's a very small part of your brain that's you.
Right, that's you. And you'll kind of remain in the sunken place. But that was established throughout the rest of the black people that was there, except for the grandfather who I couldn't really tell where the real brother underneath the grandfather was. Uh-huh. But definitely the guy with the hat, can't remember his name, we just been talking about where he snapped a picture and the real guy, Dre. He came out, and then with Georgina. In the bedroom, well, twice with her, right? The first time being where she's pouring the tea. Yes. And it started shaking or whatever, and I felt like, oh, well, she's trying to tell him something, but she don't know how. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's the first little glimpse, although the viewers don't know what the hell's going on. Right. But hindsight, after seeing the movie, that's where the first piece of the real Georgina try to reveal herself. Yeah. And the second was where she unplugged the cell phone. They're having a conversation, and she starts crying.
Right, it's creepy as balls.
Right.
Like
Really
she starts to break, and then she goes back to smiling.
Right, exactly. And I love how they had the camera zoomed in on her face.
Very close.
Very, very close, and you could see the freakiness, craziness on her face.
Right.
Like, she was a great actor.
Great actor. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like this.
I loved another thing I loved about the movie, though. Real talk was how they didn't have a lot of famous people in there.
True.
Right? Before the movie, I wasn't aware of anybody except for Lil Rel. That was the best friend.
Right.
He was a comedian. I watch a lot of comedian. And the mom.
Right, I seen the mom in a bunch of shit. Like, I think she's in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
She's been in a bunch of stuff. But
right.
she was great. I'm really glad when she died. And that was a really badass way. She stabs him through the hand. He just pushes that shit. I was like, damn, what a badass. But what were you gonna say?
With the exception of the police officers, the black detective that the best friend talked to, that was she played in the Living Single sitcom in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what was your best favorite moment from the film? I thought mine was the creepiest moment when Chris walks upstairs at the party and they all fucking stop talking and just kind of like look at him.
Yo, that was weird too.
Oh man. I said to myself, I literally said out loud, which I never really react like audibly. I go, oh my god. That was fucking creepy.
Yeah, that was. When that part happened, believe it or not, what was crazy? I still had this small doubt in my mind that they were just weird fucking white people. Because as a black person, I experience weird fucking white people all the time.
Yeah.
Every day, probably, right?
Yeah.
But
especially
until that part happened, I wasn't convinced that he was in trouble. Like, up until, I was like, yeah, he's just around. White people aren't like that. Old white people aren't like that when they
they're kind of crazy.
People like, they're... I don't know, because they're old and, they lived in a time where, black people were beneath them.
Yeah.
But, a lot of old white people, they have this kind of racist attitude without being racist. Like, they're not trying to be. It's just what they are.
Yeah.
Right? And as a young black person, I kind of take that, on the chin. Like, oh, okay, well, hey, just don't call me a nigga. We cool.
Yeah.
So I felt like he wasn't in harm's way up until that point. When he goes upstairs and he's looking for the cell phone, I believe. Yeah. And everybody stop and then they look in the direction of the staircase.
Oh man.
That's why I knew, like, right now something's going on and you need to get the fuck out of here. Get shit and let's go, bro. Like, you gotta go.
I want to talk, since we're on this topic, I'll talk about Chris. I never felt more for a character in a long time than I have for Chris.
Right.
Not just because he's like a photographer, and I do like video stuff.
Right.
But I never felt more for a dude who's just trying to be, there and for his girlfriend.
Right.
And he's kind of compromising a lot the whole film.
Right.
Like, there's some crazy shit going on that I would not be cool with.
Right.
And I also love the backstory of his mom. And then it comes full circle with Regina.
Yeah.
Or Georgina, my bad.
Yeah, at the end. And he couldn't leave her because he felt like she was still a black woman at the end of the day. and I don't think I realized until that point that was even the mother until she was like,
grandma.
Yeah, the grandma.
Yeah.
She came out with a portrait, the shotgun. The daughter was like, she has grandma.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That's the grandma.
Yeah,
like,
and then they showed and then because I think she was wearing a wig or something, and then they revealed the scar.
And I told that to my friends when the movie was going on. I was like, "Yo, like, why does the dude chopping the wood has the green hat on?" I'm like, the old cat with the beard. With the that freaked out, he had a little pimp hat on.
Yeah.
And I was like, everybody has something covering up their head.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's probably from the surgery.
Yeah.
And I said that in the movie theater.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. You're ahead of the curve, my friend. But yeah, I thought that was dope, and then of course she dies not having the seatbelt on and getting attacked. I'm like, that's some good ass depth.
Yo, back to what you were saying about how like any flaws that I see. I did see one, which my friend was trying to. He was like, well, maybe it was because of this, but the part where he scratched up the lazy boy or whatever the ottoman, and he got the cotton.
Yep.
His hands were tied down the whole time. And I was trying to figure out, well, how did he get the cotton into his ears?
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, well, maybe he just put his ear all the way down there. I'm like, well, maybe that you can get the left side with that.
Yeah, see how you can, you might be
get
able
the
to
right
do that.
side? I'm like, I don't know. It was a little far-fetched or whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a little weird. But
Also,
other than that, it was pretty good all the way around.
I was thinking to myself, maybe when that ding 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 ding, you know, the fucking spoon going in the cup. I think maybe you can just like yourself go, not like hear it. Like you can block it out audibly within yourself.
But the mother was, shout out to her. I mean, not shout out, but she was cold at what she could do because she hit the little motherfucker. Boop, 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 and he fell so hard. Went back when he was trying to escape. It was what was that, living room? And they cornered him.
Yeah, and he dropped
3 times.
And the ginger kid was like, "Oh, he dropped like a sack of meat." Whatever.
Like I was like, damn, she had to be in a cold motherfucking hypnosis to
and she was slick with that shit too. When he came in from outside, and she's like, "Hey, sit down, talk to me." And then all of a sudden, like she's sly, like slowly starts to just hypnotize him with the little, just repetitive noises, instead of like having a little like ticking meter that swings back and forth.
That question, like after he woke up the next morning, and when he went to talk to the guy with the green hat, the grandpa out there.
Right.
Before he talked to the grandpa, did you think he really got hypnotized, or did you think it was a bad dream?
I don't know. I think he really did, but then like I was thinking, where's this gonna go?
Right.
I don't think it was a dream, but they acted like it was. That's great directing and editing.
Right.
Like
they had to let us know that it really did happen. I thought that was great.
That's the greatest part about this movie is that if you don't know shit about it, even though I saw the trailer, I still don't know what the fuck was gonna happen with this film. Like every single 5 minutes, you're like, what is gonna fucking go down?
Right.
But just a couple quick flaws. Like it's not a flaw, but I just noticed like so many fucking Windows phones, and there's this. Okay, people have Surface tablets. I want to get one day.
Right.
But everyone had a Windows phone. Nobody has Windows phones in real life, and they were using Bing. I think when Chris was. I think when
it was Bing. Yeah, it was.
I think I don't know if it was
she
Chris
was Googling
or Little Trey.
Oh, somebody, I thought you meant the...
No, she was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she was Googling the NCAA athletes.
NCAA athletes. I'm like, man, how fucking...
Using Bing.
Crazy is that? Like, you just could have found one. They had to be pre-college kids. Pre-NBA kids is about to get... In other words, she wanted the, like... That's another thing to her greatness, the director put that in her, because she wasn't just looking for any regular type of black person. Like, she wasn't looking for CeeLo Green. She wanted...
Going to the Grammys and leaving.
She didn't want no short, fat guy that couldn't run really quick. She needed this guy to be 6'5".
Right.
Shoulders like,
wow,
Yeah,
LeBron.
Yeah, she needed somebody like that. She needed a Randy Moss. She needed
Moss.
Somebody. So she needed an elite African American.
Yeah.
She wasn't looking just for any old boy.
Right. Dude with the glasses at the community college.
Yeah. What about the part with the cereal? Did you think that was weird?
The cereal.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like eating it individually.
Yeah.
No, because I think maybe the way she was acting, because she was like very cold after her little twist that she was in on it. Mm-hmm. So she like even on the phone, she's like fucking crazy.
Right.
But I think I've eaten cereal like with a cup of milk and some like just fucking eating it with my hands.
Somebody, I read on Twitter, right, that somebody said because they thought it was totally weird. Which I kind of thought it was a little weird, but hey, to each his own.
Right.
But somebody said she wanted to separate the colors from the white people.
Ooh.
And that was an analogy, right? She literally ate I think it was Fruity Loops.
Yeah, it's Fruit Loops.
She ate the Fruit Loops, put them in her mouth, and once they were done, she got like a sip of the milk.
Oh.
Like she never really ate the Fruit Loops, then got the sip of the milk, and then finished eating the Fruit Loops. Kept chewing. She waited till everything was done, then she kind of rinsed her mouth out with the milk. So somebody said it was like an analogy, like she wanted to keep the colors separated from the whites.
Oh.
And it was
never thought about that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that was true or not, but it was a great analogy.
Yeah, we'll have to rewatch and look for that next time.
What do you think about the sunken place?
The what?
The sunken place. The hidden was it the sunken place? The hidden place?
Oh, I bought
visually.
it. I bought it. I thought like, man, that'd be really fucked up. And also, I guess because we both believe in God, right?
Right.
If they wanted to somehow like live forever, how the fuck would they be able to do this? It's not a flaw for me, but it's a discussion piece. Like, how the fuck would they be able to transplant their brains into someone else? What about their souls and shit?
Right.
I never really thought about that. But I just bought it as the movie was going on, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this because it's a fucking really good movie. I'm believing everything that's going on right now. But I was thinking to myself, man, what about the souls though?
Right.
How do they live? I was like, fuck them. They're going to hell.
I thought the sunken place though was like visually, I thought it was so dope because the guy was just falling. He kept falling. There was no beneath. There was no above. There was no behind. You pretty much just saw the forward, which was the small square box of which you could see outside, which would be your eyes. That's what I took it as.
Yeah.
And you can see what the hell's going on, but you have no control whatsoever, which is why you're just suspended in this place where you have no control over anything.
Yeah, I kept on wondering, not to cut you off, I kept on wondering, like, I'm seeing, like, every single, like, image, like, of the trailers, it's him crying and, like, holding like this. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Right. Yeah, I thought that was, pretty good acting, too.
Right, yeah,
Really
yeah.
good acting.
You can also see, when he went out, when he was strapped for the first time in that little room, like, there's a really close-up shot, and you can see, like, his fucking head throbbing, and then he passes out. I'm like, God damn!
Right.
Good job, boy. But the dinner scene was a little bit, directing-wise, it was just a little nitpick, but I'm taking points off. Like, Jordan Peele, like, broke the 180 rule. The 180 rule is, if you're here and I'm here, you shoot from this side. This is the 180.
Okay.
Like the left side instead of the right side. But he kept on switching it. I don't know if he was doing it on purpose or maybe he's, new time director. He didn't know what he was doing. But maybe it was on purpose so he can confuse us. That's the whole reason why you break the rules. That you confuse the audience. But that scene was kind of awkward to begin with because, that's why I kept on thinking, are they going to eat this motherfucker? He's like, do you like UFC? Like, blah, 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 blah. You're an athlete. You got a big body, whatever the fuck he was saying. I'm like, it's some creepy ass shit. But that's just a little nitpick. But overall, I love the fucking film. Do we have anything else we want to say about the movie?
Oh, there's a couple more things I wanted to hear while I was talking.
Yeah, let's do it.
I forget some of them. I do remember one of them. What did you think about the box? About when he found the shoebox in the closet and he was going through the photos and he found like all these other black people.
Right.
And then he did find the one picture of Georgina.
Right. Who I guess she dated as a lesbian or something.
Right. That's what I was trying to figure out too. I was like, then was she a lesbian or? I kind of.
That's true. Maybe she just did it just to get Georgina.
Yeah, because they needed somebody for grandma. So they needed a woman.
Right.
So maybe either she was a lesbian or she maybe was just best friends. Because I have seen that where you were a freshman in college or sophomore even. You got you living in the dorm rooms. You got Caucasian roommate and the other roommate is African American, and they befriend each other. And the white girl's like, hey, you know what? I'm going home this weekend. It might not even been
that's true
a holiday weekend. It could have just been a regular weekend.
Right.
What are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm not doing anything.
Well, my parents are rich. We got a pool.
Hey, you come my house, me and my parents, totally be cool. That way I have somebody to talk to the whole weekend. I won't be bored.
Right.
All right, I'm not doing shit. Let me grab my bag, my homework.
Right, toothbrush.
Cool. Yeah. And she probably just brung her home like, hey, this is my friend from college, my roommate. Parents are probably all chill and shit. And little did she know, she was it was gonna be her last time there. Her last time on Earth.
As Georgina.
Yeah, as Georgina. There you go.
Transplanted grandma. I just thought it was just the same thing. Like I said, I thought she wasn't in on it. Right. And then again, it's something crazy. I don't know. I'm glad you asked this because I didn't really notice it. Maybe she put him up after Chris was, or maybe she was in a different room. But maybe she put him up after Chris was tied down to the chair. But when she was eating those Fruit Loops, the back wall was like pictures of all those people.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, are we in a different place, or did she just put those up right now?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I felt like it was almost like, okay, hey, I did my job. Now you guys do the rest, because she kind of secluded herself from the rest of the house and the family. Like they were, the mom, the dad, and the son. They were, the basement and the kitchen, and I guess kind of do the final transformation stage. And then she was just kind of off in her own world. She had this white suit on, which I don't know why she had that on, but whatever.
Right.
And she had the headphones in, listening to some music, and she was eating the Fruit Loops. It almost was like she was back to, her old self or whatever.
Square one.
Right, square one. I thought it was completely hilarious, right? And that kind of shows you like the loyalty when you a homeboy and your best friend is missing. Like,
yeah. She
tried to the girl. She tried to call after the homeboy called her. Right. She tried to I just what is she trying to do? She tried to get him to come over. The best friend.
Yeah, so what happened was she was giving him the actual information, like, oh, he left, but he's like, I'm gonna court this bitch. Right. So he goes in, I was like, damn, okay, this is good. Yeah, some smart shit. Good job, TSA friend. Right. And then he puts it on speaker, records, and she knew, and it's just like, hey, you want to come over and fuck, like type of deal. Right. And he goes, what, bitch, you crazy? Hung up, and he's like, damn, she's smart. Right. And then I love this guy so fucking much. I remember you talk about the police officers and they were laughing at him. I was like, this is definitely gonna be a Rush Hour situation.
Right.
And
I thought that was great too, because like. From the audience standpoint, you know, everybody always asks, why doesn't he just go to the police? Right. So it's like you have to write that in there. There's got to be a way where the police are not going to get involved, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have to have some acknowledgement of what's going on. Therefore, you have them go to the police, you sit down with the detective or whoever it may be, and they pretty much just laugh at you in your face because the story is so crazy, so unexplainable, so unrealistic that you pretty much look like an alien coming in here telling this story.
Especially this motherfucker.
Yeah, you know, so it's like, I got the dog right here.
Right.
Sex slave.
Yeah. I love it. No, I want to cut you off because I want to say this because I'm not going to remember. I love it when he says, and sex slaves and shit. Oh, sorry about the shit.
that had me dying, man. I was there rolling.
I was like, oh my god, this guy's amazing. Oh my god. And then he repeats the story without that, but he goes, I love it. He goes, and the way he delivers it too. He goes, and sex slaves and shit. Oh, sorry about that shit.
Because believe it or not, you know, once he left, or when it's like, fuck, you know, after the girl went and got the two other detectives, they pretty much thought he was a complete joke at that point.
Yeah.
Not that they went to the next scene. I was sitting there thinking, like, damn, so much for the police trying to help him.
Right.
You know, I knew then, like, they weren't going, and it's not like they're going to send a black and white cruiser up to the property to investigate. And, you know, he was on his own at that point.
Right.
So that kind of, you know, hit that right on the coffin. Like, anybody that was in the theater waiting for the police to show up, they knew then at that point there was no cops going to come.
Right.
They didn't take him serious enough. So.
Yep. That's when I saw the lights. I was like, what? And it was his own TSA car. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, damn, I was waiting for Rose, Allison Williams, to start getting up. I'm like, oh, damn. But no, she's like, she died. That was great acting. Great acting all around for this movie. It's fucking amazing. Did you, what trailers did they show before Get Out? And here's the thing. There's a lot of shitty-ass horror films out there. And there's been a lot of shitty horror films for the past 15, 20 years. I don't really call myself a horror expert, but I'd probably say it's my favorite genre, and I see as many ghost, demon films as possible to write my own exorcism book.
Right.
There are trailers shown for this, like, When the Bow, or whatever the fuck it's called, breaks movie. It's like a ripoff, though. It's starring Katherine Heigl, and I think it's Rosario Dawson. Have you seen that trailer? They showed that trailer, which is like fucking 3 minutes long, shows the whole fucking movie, and twists and everything. And then they showed a movie with Joey King and this like Dybbuk box ripoff that grants like her evil wishes. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Horror has been terrible for the past 15, 20 years, except last year was great. I saw Don't Breathe. Did you see Don't Breathe?
Yeah. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it, I don't know, it must have been a bootleg or something. But that's a great copy, you know, the one with the little Chinese. Yeah, it was a bootleg.
Yeah, the Chinese is definitely bootleg for sure.
So, yeah, I saw it probably here at the house.
Yeah, I saw Green Room and I saw Don't Breathe. Green Room might be my number 2 I have to recommend you guys see Green Room.
Okay.
Green Room's my number 2 of the year, and Don't Breathe was fucking great.
Yeah, that was great.
Last year horror was actually really fucking awesome, and this year we got Split, which was fucking great. You got to see Split.
I haven't saw that.
Have you seen?
I saw a lot of people talking about that when it came out. Kind of made me want to go see it because everybody was kind of like, the buzz wasn't as strong as the Get Out, but a lot of my friends were like,
buzz.
Yo, go see Split.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
Have you seen, like, you're actually a M. Night Shyamalan fan. You love Lady in the Water.
Yeah,
I like M. Night Shyamalan too. I like Signs. You've seen Unbreakable?
With Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
You like that movie?
It's been a minute, but I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay. I think, because those movies are really good, you're going to really love Split.
Okay. Wait, Shyamalan did Split?
Yeah, that's his movie.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yo, it's dope as shit.
I definitely got to check it out.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still in theaters now, but
I
might buy it and bring it over.
He did the Devil movie when there was the elevator.
Yeah, no, he produced that one. But yeah, I love that movie though. That's like an 8 out of 10.
And the Airbender, right?
Yeah, he did Airbender. Yeah, that one got shit on.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It was all right, but
yeah, but a lot of people they got a lot of hate. But we got Split this year. Last year we had a great year, and then we got Get Out. And in my opinion, I'm gonna say what I give it out of 10. And I'm gonna ask you what you think out of 10. Dealing with all the bullshit we've gotten, I actually have high hopes for last year and this year. And this film is fucking excellent, just like Split and Get Out. I think Get Out is actually one of the greatest horror films ever made. It'll probably make my top 10. It's probably my fucking favorite horror film made since Exorcist 3 in 1990. I might give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. And the only flaw, logically, besides the chair thing you brought up, I'll have to think about that. But the only one I was thinking of was the Flash. And then how did she not know that the Flash was going to change? I think his name was Walter, the groundskeeper.
Oh, yeah, it was Walter.
So that's the only flaw that I take points off for out of 10. So what would you give it out of 10?
Definitely 9.5 at the very least, if not a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, seriously, how do you go lower than 8? You can't go lower than 8. This movie's fucking amazing.
If you go lower than 8, then you definitely have like some type of bias or prejudice against the whole plot and theory of the movie.
Right. I don't like interracial sex and couples.
I mean, hey, it's 2017. It is what it is now, But yeah, only two flaws I really saw was. For me, the main one was when he was in the chair. I mean, the hands were strapped.
Right, they were
right here. It wasn't like it was strapped up here where.
Right, and his legs were tied down too.
Yeah, he was strapped like right here. So I was like, I mean, he was a strong guy. He might have been a little flexible where he could have got to it, but I just found it kind of hard to believe he did.
Right.
And then the Flash that you pointed that out to me when they were. And what did you think about him shooting himself? Did you think that was necessary?
Walter?
Yeah,
I think so because he could probably just like Dre. Fall out and then go back to his old self. Right. And he didn't want to do that because think about it, for like how many years he's been in that little what's that shit called? The deep.
Yeah.
He's been in that the whole time watching his life through this TV screen type of deal. Like fuck that shit. I would have killed myself too.
I definitely would have because he has the brain of a white man. I'm not saying not trying to be racist and nothing like that. Oh, what's wrong with the brain of a white man? What's wrong with that? What are you trying to? Nah. Listen, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm trying to say he don't have his own brain. Yeah, I'm not about to live my life through somebody else's. Next thing you know, he would have had a fucking 85-year-old white woman on his arm. Because logically that's the brain he has. That's probably what he would be attracted to. Yeah. But and then the little bit of consciousness he still had left was dangling in the sucking place, hitting place.
I don't know.
What they call that? The little black room or whatever, the sucking room or the hitting room or something like that.
I have no
idea. Whatever. It was, he was pretty much whatever level of consciousness he had was just floating in a little black room, and he was just suspended there forever. So I was thinking he had to kill himself. He had to. There's no way
for sure
you could see you living like that.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that's some deep shit. I know when he's like, he did the Flash, I was like, oh, but did he change? Did he change? And he's like, give me the gun, Rose, or whatever. And I was like, oh, shit. He better shoot her.
I was a little confused, though, when old boy was choking Rose out on the ground.
Right.
And it looked like she looked up and she started smiling. I thought at that point somebody was behind him.
Right. I thought she was actually she had some knife or some stick in his ribs or something.
And I thought somebody was behind him. Like, who's she looking at? And then he just kind of stopped. And I was like, okay, that was weird. I don't know.
Yeah, he's about to get fucking killed or something.
Yeah, I didn't know what was the point of that. I think maybe he knew he could have killed her at that point after everything she did, probably because, not saying he was weak or soft, but given the circumstances he'd been with her for the last 5 or 6 months,
right?
Probably was a little small ounce of love still left that he had for her. He could have killed her, so he knew she was fucked up anyway.
Yeah.
Let me just get the hell out of here.
Yeah. I would have done the same thing, and I'm like, damn, she's still nice.
Right.
I wonder if I can still get some before you die. No.
Just bleeding out and shit on the ground.
Damn. But that'd be it. I give it 9.5. You give it 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5, close to 10. Maybe 9.8.
9.8. Okay.
Yeah, but -2 for the
0.2. Yeah. I can agree with that.
I'm trying to think. Might have been one more thing that I saw.
What did you think
about the soundtrack? The soundtrack was
I think, oh man, I'm surprised I didn't talk about this. That shit was fucking amazing because it was so creepy. It added to that vibe that I was talking about way earlier about Jordan Peele creating an atmosphere and mood that just creeps you the fuck out.
And that's what I read, that he wanted to get that exact piece for the movie. Like, they composed a piece where he told the musicians that he didn't want it to sound, stereotypical horror movie.
Yeah.
He wanted to sound, just crazy, like gut-wrenching type of thriller, something. And then I think he used like a lot of African like, you know, instruments and stuff like that or whatever. And then the Childish Gambino, Roy's a Red Light, that was dope or whatever. But yeah, soundtrack was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was surprised I didn't write down my notes. I was rapidly typing when I got home from the theater all the shit that I wanted to say, which I said. But I can't believe I forgot about the music because that shit was fucking.
Yeah, that shit was great. That shit was.
Some of those shots too, though. Like I was wondering why the fuck I've never seen this in my life. You have, god damn it, truck. You have this like this guy meeting the parents for the first time, which is never told through a very wide shot of the house. Usually it's right up close with the people in the family, close-ups, mid-shots, whatever.
Right.
Instead, it's like this of the house, you can barely see them. I was like, why the fuck did Jordan Peele shoot it like this? And then it pulls back, and then you see Walter looking at him. Right. I'm like, damn, that's creepy. Okay. Like, great job, Jordan Peele, man. I can't wait to see what else this guy does.
Did you buy the story that the grandfather that gave shit, man, I gotta remember the character's name next time I do a podcast, but the grandfather gave the boyfriend
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. He said, I know how it looks, you know, with the help being black or whatever.
Right.
You know, they were the help of my parents, and after they passed, I just couldn't get rid of them. Did you buy that story? Because it looked like they were kind of young enough where, you know, they'll be all right, you know, if you got rid of them. Like, I mean, I think this is not the house. I don't think that was the house they lived. That was like a vacation house, wasn't it? Or was it the house?
I think it was their house.
Okay.
I think the only thing I was like, was him commenting on how she looked. Like, it was like creepy.
Right.
That's the only. I was like, huh? And then that's why she's like, oh, blah blah. And she's like, oh, you think she's like always like, oh, you're jealous? Does this guy want to fuck? Like, hey, what the hell? This chick's a hoe.
I also read too that Walter, right, that the grandfather or whatever, that was, you know, reincarnated. Yeah, that during the running scene that he had, they said they got it in one take, and that he was running so hard and so fast that he also, what did they say? It wasn't a cramp. I think he tore something or he injured something. He injured something.
Might have been a hamstring, man.
Yeah, it was a hamstring. They said he was running so intense for that scene.
Yeah, he was fucking running.
They said he was running really fast and really hard because the look on his face, he had to run intense, and they got it in one shot because he had injured himself, and the shot was pretty good. Yeah. So they just went on and stuck with the one shot or whatever.
Yep.
And they talk about how he was a football player or whatever, so that's why he was kind of quick like that.
Gotcha. All right, y'all. One love. Matt signing out. Thank you, Brother James, for coming on the show.
No problem, dog.
And we'll try to get you back on for Power Rangers, hopefully. Right, if I can see Power Rangers, that is. All right, guys. One love. Peace.
End of line.
Good luck and congratulations on choosing
C-Progress.